So schools in Melbourne, as we heard, they're reopening from Friday. What are the effects of these ongoing lockdowns on children? Let's go live to child psychologist Clare Rowe. Clare, what have you picked up from those clients, those people that you've been speaking to as to the real world impact on kids here?
Yeah, thanks, Kieran. I mean, I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of people in my professions that are really disappointed that schools closed again in Melbourne. I think last year, certainly, we're talking 12 months ago now when we had our first kind of national lockdowns. And I think for children, there was a bit of a novelty factor. I think I have to admit there was a lot of kids who kind of thought that was quite exciting, having some time off. And I think back then there were perhaps even some positive mental health aspects of a lockdown, of parents spending engaged time with children and a bit of a slower pace of life. The novelty factor has well and truly worn off, and professionals now, like myself, dealing with kids are getting really concerned. I mean, if this happens again, we are going to see even an increase in spike in anxiety and depression, self-harming and possibly suicide rates that I think will far outweigh any COVID cases. So, look, the effect is, of course, you're taking children, you're asking them to remove any protective factors that we as professionals would say are good for your mental health. So social interaction, getting outside. I've got kids who are just staying inside, curtains closed, on screens, essentially 24 hours a day.
Clare, and certainly what you're saying has been reinforced to me by other psychologists, paediatricians and so on. It's been diabolical, the impact on adolescents and kids. Do you think that the health authorities have had a blind spot when it comes to this impact of the pandemic? Obviously, everyone knows full well the virus and the impact of COVID-19, but there is also this silent pandemic epidemic that's happening in terms of mental health. Has it been a blind spot for many?
Well, it seems to have been. I mean, I don't know about policymakers and decision makers. I think a lot of us in frustration are thinking a lot of these decisions are quite arbitrary. And I know at the end of the day, their line that will trump everything is we are saving lives. And that's the line that I think these decision makers are taking. We're saving lives, we're keeping people safe, we're keeping them at home, and the effects of COVID will far outweigh this. But look, the evidence worldwide shows that children, aren't at risk from COVID. It shows that the effect worldwide, we're getting research now out of the UK of spiking poor mental health with children. And that's not something that will just go away and they'll be able to resume normal life. I mean, essentially what I'm seeing is we're kind of inducing these behavioural symptoms of depression on previously psychologically well people. I mean, stay at home, don't talk to anyone, don't get out, stay in front of a screen. We're kind of inducing all these behaviours that you would see in a depressed person. And so if you do that for days and possibly weeks on end, your mental health will suffer. I mean, that's just a given. It's not kind of a thing that we're proposing may happen. And it is happening in alarming levels.
Yeah, we've seen that, and that helpline number this week as well. Thanks for your contribution, Clare Rowe, child psychologist. We'll stay in touch, and hopefully we'll see the back of this lockdown very soon, and there'll be no more.